This video will take you through the process of proper media management, from ingesting your digital media into your computer to organizing the media within Premiere Pro. So, let's get started. Ingesting is the process of transferring media from any source, such as a digital video camera, hard drive, or file sharing service, to your computer. For the purposes of this assignment, you should have downloaded the practice file containing media from the LMS. Once you've done that, you've successfully ingested the media that you'll need to follow along with this video.
Yay!
When you start shooting your own footage with your TechKit camera, you'll learn how to ingest media from there, but for now, you have what you need. Ingesting is where the editing process actually begins. Even before you open Premiere Pro, you're completing tasks of the editor by ingesting and organizing all of your media for whatever video or film project you're working on. The media can include video clips, audio clips, music, graphics, and any other digital content that you may use in your project. Once your media is on your computer, it's vital that you find it a good home. Open Finder and locate the media that you downloaded from the LMS. Let's move it into the Documents folder on your computer's hard drive. This is a safe place to store media for projects that you're currently working on. Now, if you've seen the movie Fight Club, you know how important it is to abide by the rules. So, let's call our rules the Editing Club rules. First rule of Editing Club: save all media in a location on the computer's hard drive with plenty of space. You may be tempted to leave it in the Downloads folder or place it on the desktop or an external drive, but the Documents folder should be your go-to home for all media for projects that you're currently working on. After you've finished the project, it's best to move the media to a backup location, like an external hard drive or Google Drive for storage, freeing up space on your computer's hard drive so it can run properly. If you leave too much media on your computer's hard drive, like in the Documents folder, your computer will start to run slower. And when I say it's best, I mean do it! Trust me, you don't want to bog down your computer with media. It'll make your computer sick. And you don't want your computer to be sick. Trust me, I know. The next step after ingesting is organizing. So let's create a standard folder structure for an editing project. Many editors start with the same folder structure each time they start a new project as a simple and consistent way to organize their media. Every editor has their own preferences when it comes to organization, so let's start with something basic that most editors would agree upon. Some standard go-to folders include Projects for Premiere Pro projects, Video for all video clips. This will likely be further organized with folders for each day of shooting or each scene, Audio for all audio files like music and sound effects, Graphics, which could include some titles and visual effects files, Exports for saved movie files of the different cuts of the film, Documents for the scripts, shot lists, storyboards, etc., and Finals for the final assets of the film or video. Once you have your folders created, you can organize your media by moving the files into the appropriate folder. Let's take some time to do that now. It's essential that you organize your media in Finder before you take the next step. Second rule of Editing Club: always organize your media in Finder before any other action. You'll see why this is important in a moment, but for now, pretend you're Princess Jasmine and I'm Aladdin. You'll just have to trust me. Now is the best and only time that you should rename your media. Third rule of Editing Club: only rename a file when in the ingesting and organizing stage. Just trust me on this one too. I'll show you why later. The next step is to import your media into an Adobe Premiere Pro project. You can use the provided project file or create your own for practice. Once you have the project open, go to Menu Bar, File, Import. This will open Finder and you can locate the media within your Documents folder. Then you can choose the files or folders that you want to import. Notice that you can import individual files or your entire folder structure. Once you click Import, the media will be loaded into your project panel. Since we've imported the folders, Premiere Pro's kept our file structure. But in Premiere Pro, the folders are called bins. If you'd like to create a bin, just right-click within the project panel and select New Bin. You can name your bin by highlighting the bin and clicking on the name, or by right-clicking on the bin and selecting Rename. But if you double-click on the bin, you'll open it in a new tab within the project panel. You can drag and drop media into bins and organize your project panel just like you did in Finder. But if you've properly organized in Finder, you shouldn't have to do this again in Premiere. You can open a bin to see its contents or collapse it to save space with the caret icon. Notice that Premiere has given icons and colors to your media. The icons represent what type of media the item is. Notice there are different icons for items that are video and audio clips, images, and video-only clips. The icons are a Premiere preset, but the colors are customizable. You can use these colors to further organize your media. To change the color label, right-click on it, choose Label, and then choose a color. To remove items or a bin from the project panel, just click on it and hit the Delete key. So, now that you understand how to properly organize your media in Finder and in your Premiere project, let's talk about what happens when you break the Editing Club rules and don't use proper media management. Not that you'll ever do that, right? Let's reiterate the first rule of Editing Club. Save all media in a location on your computer's hard drive with plenty of free space. If you've broken this rule and saved the media on an external hard drive, what happens if the external hard drive fails or if it gets unplugged? Media offline! Game over, man! Game over! Yeah, it looks really bad, right? What does this mean? It just means Premiere Pro can't find your media and that it's offline. Don't worry, I'll show you how to fix this in a bit. Let's reiterate the second rule of Editing Club. Always organize your media in Finder before taking any other action. What if you've broken this rule and you decide to organize your media in Finder after importing it into Premiere? I'll just move this over here and media offline! In the words of Luke Skywalker, no! Let's reiterate the third rule of Editing Club. Only rename a file when in the ingesting and organizing stage. What if you've broken this rule and you rename a file in Finder after importing it into Premiere? Media offline! In the words of Willy Wonka, you lose! Good day, sir! So, you've broken a few Editing Club rules. It's okay, as long as you know how to fix them. Let's talk about relinking media. When you see the dreaded media offline warning, in the words of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, don't panic. Just relink your media. Most of the time, Premiere Pro will help you out by opening up the link media window for you. But in case it doesn't, right-click on the offline media within the project panel and choose Link Media. Then make sure your media is selected. You have a few options. If you no longer need the media, you can choose Offline or Offline All if you've selected more than one clip. This will tell Premiere that you're fine with the media being offline and not to worry about it. Or you can choose Locate to find the media and relink it, essentially putting it online again within the Premiere Pro project. If you know where the file is, just navigate through this window to find it. If you don't, try using the search bar to search for the file by name. And you should now realize why you should never rename a file in Finder after importing it into Premiere. If you've done this, it's going to be pretty difficult to locate your file this way. Once you've found your file, click on it and then click OK. Premiere Pro will relink your media and you'll be able to see it again in your source monitor and in your sequence. No more offline media, unless you've deleted the media. Then it's not coming back online. Sorry. But I'm sure you'll all be good little editors and you won't have to worry about any of that.